10 years of being a corporate drone plus a dysfunctional family, my life has been utterly pathetic. My only solace is writing grimdark fiction where the villains get to win. But as I wrote, something started to feel off. My supervisor sexually harassed me. While typing, I casually cursed him, wishing he'd just disappear. The next day, I learned he'd been severely injured and hospitalized. My brother is a bloodsucker, constantly stealing from me. In a fit of rage, I snapped that he deserved to die. The words had barely left my lips when a shadowy figure manifested, snatched a heavy pop art painting from the wall, and brought it crashing down on the back of my brother's skull. In my shock, I recognized the figure. It was the villain from my own stories. Visible only to me, obeying only my commands. So, I began to use him. To collect the debts owed by those who wronged me. Hashtag Chapter 1, The Office Rules. Miranda, my office. Now. With that one sentence from Supervisor Tom, the open plan office lit up with stares. The smirks from female colleagues, the knowing glances from the men, it was like being drenched in sticky syrup. Suppressing the churning in my gut, I clutched a file folder and walked toward the frosted glass door. Sir, it's about the Q2 financial report analysis. I've already, I stood at the threshold, trying to build a defense with professionalism. Close the door. Come here. His tone brooked no argument. The hard cover of the folder creased under my grip. I closed the door and approached his expansive walnut desk, maintaining a safe reporting distance. I was halfway through explaining the third quarter cash flow forecast when a sweaty palm landed on the outside of my thigh. Goosebumps erupted beneath the suit fabric. In my peripheral vision, Tom wasn't even looking at the report. His gaze slithered over my collarbone and waistline, appraising merchandise. I shifted slightly, subtly moving away. The hand grew bolder, sliding to the small of my back with a sickening, possessive need. Miranda keeps in shape, I see. Nice lines. His bloated body sank into the leather swivel chair like a wrinkled mound of slime. I fought to keep my voice steady. You flatter me. The annual fee for a decent New York gym could cover 3 months of my rent. My sarcasm was twisted into clumsy flotation. He leaned forward, the stench of cheap cologne and stale coffee washing over me. Oh. Hinting that I should give you a raise? Or perhaps you want more direct mentorship? He emphasized the last word. A vein throbbed at my temple. I cursed him with every filthy word I knew inside my head. Outwardly, I maintained a hollow smile, saying nothing. My silence was taken as consent. He launched into a nauseating monologue. Smart girls know how to use their assets. I'd be happy to be your mentor. You know, with me, many difficulties become simple. His fingers, like fat slugs, coiled around my wrist. I could see the sparse, gel-stiffened strands of his blonde hair, the large pores on his skin, the shirt button straining over his beer belly. Every detail turned my stomach. Half an hour later, I practically fled that office. The colleagues' probing, disdainful, or gleeful looks were a second blade, flaying me alive. I took a deep breath of the stale, air-conditioned air and returned to my cubicle, donning noise-canceling headphones. But I knew, no matter what I achieved in the future, in their eyes, it would always be attributed to special favors. Fuck this. Did I ask for those pigs trotters to touch me? Damn Tom, damn office politics, damn all of it. Hashtag Chapter 2, Home is Hell. That night, back in my tiny Brooklyn apartment, I took my rage to the keyboard. Silas stood in the shadows of the abandoned factory, looking down at the unconscious man on the ground as if admiring a toy about to be disassembled. He pondered not life or death, but the artistry of pain. In the end, he chose the most protracted method, starting at the ankles, using a specially crafted knife with reverse barbs to flay away skin and muscle, piece by piece. Blood dripped from his black leather half-gloves, blooming into dark crimson flowers on the concrete floor. The victim's screams dissolved into broken whimpers within the vast, empty space, fear stretched and amplified to its limits. For Silas, this had nothing to do with hatred. It was a pure aesthetic exercise. As the last tendon was severed, he paused, tilting his head. He'd forgotten why he was killing this man. But it didn't matter. A reason never existed. Because malevolence was his very nature. As I typed the final period, Tom's greasy face floated before my eyes again. I closed them, imagining the man on the cold concrete was him. If only I didn't have to see that disgusting face tomorrow. The monitor's cold glow reflected on my face, a dark satisfaction swelling in my chest. I shut the laptop and collapsed onto the mattress, swallowed by exhaustion almost instantly. The next day, I walked into the office right on time. The atmosphere was eerie. The usual gossip huddle saw me and, for the first time ever, pulled me in. "Miranda, how's the supervisor? Did the police say anything?" My colleague Kaylee whispered. I was baffled. "What are you talking about? You don't know?" Her eyes widened. "Supervisor Tom was attacked at home last night. He's in the hospital with serious injuries. They say the scene was horrifying." My heart clenched. A home invasion? Doesn't look like it. The scene was clean, no signs of forced entry, nothing valuable stolen. The police are stumped. I asked no more questions, but a sense of unease plagued me all day. Last night's curse felt like a cold coin lodged in my throat. Chapter 3, The Vampire in My Blood. Any relief from leaving work vanished the moment I opened my apartment door. The place was a wreck. My brother, Kyle, was sprawled on the couch, mobile game blaring at full volume. Fury detonated. I stormed over and snatched his phone. "Kyle. What the hell? This is my apartment." Kyle sat up lazily, his face, so similar to mine, twisted into a smirk. "Broke. Got any cash? Credit card will do." ***. The absurdity almost made me laugh. 2/3 of my monthly salary went to my mother and this precious son, yet their greed was insatiable. "Get out. I don't have a cent." I grabbed his arm, trying to haul him up. The disparity in strength was immediate. Kyle easily shook me off, shoving me to the floor. He grabbed my messenger bag and began rifling through it. It contained the last of my cash, saved for next month's rent. I screamed and lunged for it, only to be met with a vicious kick to the stomach. Pain stole my breath, curling me into a ball. Kyle stuffed the crumpled bills into his pocket, crouched before me, and patted my cheek. "That's it? Was it worth the fight?" I tasted blood where I'd bitten my cheek. "The money I send every month isn't enough? Do you really want to drive me to my grave?" "TCH, he scoffed. "Didn't Mom tell you? Everything you have belongs to me by right. I'm not stealing, I'm taking what's mine." He leaned closer, his breath reeking of alcohol. "If you keep forgetting your place, I'll find someone to marry you off tomorrow. Might even get a decent dowry." Extreme rage crystallized into icy calm. I stared straight into his eyes, enunciating each word. "I understand now. I understand that you're human garbage. You deserve to die. You belong in hell." Kyle's face contorted with fury. He drew back his fist. The expected blow never landed. I heard a dull thud, followed by the sound of a heavy body collapsing. Kyle slumped to the floor in front of me, blood seeping from the back of his head. A tall, shadowy figure stood behind him, holding the heavy metal frame of the pop art painting that had been on the wall. The shadow, having struck once, seemed unsatisfied. It raised the painting's sharp corner, aiming for Kyle's neck. "Stop!" I cried out, my voice breaking. The figure froze. It turned slowly, moving toward me. It was a dense, human-shaped darkness, featureless, yet it sent a primal tremor through my soul. I wasn't afraid. I felt a strange familiarity. "Silas?" I whispered the name. The shadow halted. The villain I had created had stepped out of my words and into reality. Chapter 4, the silent conspiracy. Kyle couldn't die in my apartment. I called an ambulance and followed it to the hospital. Silas, the shadow, curled at my feet like a silent pet. Invisible to all but me. The diagnosis: concussion, minor skull fracture, non-life-threatening, expected to wake by morning. I sat on a cold plastic chair, sent a text to my mother, and turned off my phone. Silas stayed with me. A thought struck. I whispered, "Supervisor Tom, was that you?" No audible answer, but a clear, direct thought flowed into my mind: yes. Your will. My action. A shiver ran down my spine. An offhand curse had come true. Why help me? You created me. Your hatred is my sustenance. Your enemies are my prey. The communication was cold, direct. Just then, the sharp click of high heels echoed down the corridor, accompanied by a shrill voice. Miranda Chen. What did you do to Kyle? My mother, a Chinese-American woman who poured her entire being into her son, rushed toward me, hand raised to strike. I caught her wrist and flung it away. My heart had long turned to stone where she was concerned. I even managed a malicious smile. Go see your precious boy. Might be your last chance. She shot me a venomous glare and burst into the room. Through the glass, I saw her throw herself over Kyle, weeping like a woman who had lost everything. What a touching scene of maternal devotion, something I had never experienced in over 20 years. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Beside me, Silas's voice whispered again, laced with temptation. Take your revenge. I will help. I opened my eyes. The shadow was close, almost merging with me. After a long moment, I heard my own dry voice say, all right. Even if I had to dance with a demon, I would make those who wronged me pay. ##### Chapter 5, Judgment at the Cubicle. The next day, I went to work wearing full makeup. In the break room, my uncharacteristically made-up face drew sidelong glances. John, the office's resident jerk, sidled over with his coffee. Wow, Miranda, all dolled up even without the boss around? Who's the lucky guy? A low chuckle rippled through the room. I stirred my coffee slowly, looking up at him. I was worried I might run into your father on the way home. Wouldn't want to miss my chance to be your new mommy if I looked too plain. I smiled, sweeping my gaze across the others. I suppose all of you have fathers at home? Fair game, then. John's face flushed crimson. The smirks around the room solidified. Amusing, but not enough. As John opened his mouth to retort, I gave Silas a subtle signal. The shadow darted past, expertly tipping the scalding coffee from John's hand. Brown liquid splashed everywhere, dousing several people nearby. Shrieks and curses instantly filled the break room. I, with my own coffee intact, retreated gracefully to my desk. Watching the chaos, I tasted the sweet tang of retaliation for the first time. But my plans for the day extended far beyond this. I wanted to make this stagnant pond boil over. All morning, Silas moved like a phantom through the office. Colleagues' computer screens, encrypted messages, secrets tucked in drawers, nothing was private from him. At lunch, as everyone prepared to head out together, I stood up. Mind if I join? John seized the chance for payback, his tone leering. Sure. Just call me Daddy first. The group waited for my humiliation. I shook my head, my gaze settling on Linda in the crowd. I couldn't possibly. But John, didn't you say last night that Linda's vocals were particularly impressive? John and Linda paled instantly. Linda's boyfriend, Mark, jumped in. What are you implying? Just because you have no shame doesn't mean you can slander others. I feigned surprise. I was talking about John and Linda, Mark. Why are you so upset? Oh. I forgot. You're Linda's official boyfriend. Office romances were strictly forbidden. They'd hidden it well, but not from Silas. The group erupted. But this was only the beginning. Carl, How was the special service blackmail yesterday? No wonder you look so rough today. Susan, you and Supervisor Tom certainly had the most intimate email exchanges. Next time, don't use me as your cover story. And Amy, the intern. Adding special ingredients to everyone's coffee, were we? At first, all the anger was directed at me. But gradually, poisonous buds of suspicion and rage began to sprout among them. This room full of self-righteous professionals thought they could gang up on me. If we're going down together. Watching them bristle, I picked up my handbag elegantly. Seems no one has an appetite. I'll take my leave. Mark was the first to snap, punching John square in the face. Fuck you, John. You bastard. The two men brawled. Linda screamed. Others watched coldly. The scene descended into utter chaos. The commotion brought in HR. I was summoned. Miranda, this is profoundly unprofessional. How is this team supposed to function now? She asked, rubbing her temples. I shrugged. Then don't let it function. And this is just the beginning. From now on, whatever I hear, whatever I see, I'll share faithfully. Your call. I adopted the posture of someone with nothing left to lose. In the end, to avoid further scandal, the company agreed to a negotiated termination of my contract, along with a substantial severance package. Before leaving, I stood in the center of the wrecked office, smiling at the sea of angry faces. May you all wallow in suspicion and distrust. May every day be memorable.